It's just not going to do it for me. So if the intro didn't say it enough, you can kind of gather that I'm not going to be using the Nexus 6 anymore. This is the second time that I've chosen to use the Nexus 6 as a daily driver. If you caught my video last week, you knew that I was going to be doing a follow-up review on the Nexus 6. I was giving it another shot. Unfortunately, it's just not going to make the cut this time around because of a number of reasons. I will say that I enjoyed it more this time. I had more fun with it. It was fun to have a bigger screen, front-facing speakers, all that kind of stuff that's a benefit of having the Nexus 6. Let me go over a few things that I do like about the Nexus 6. What I do like is that it's got an unlockable bootloader. You can custom ROMs, custom kernels, all that customizable stuff that us rooters, modders, and hackers like to do. It's a great device for it. It's made for that, and it's perfect for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of great ROMs out there, a lot of great different modifications that you can add to this device. I love the big screen. The big screen is awesome. But it's also actually kind of turned into a negative side, which I never really thought I would catch myself saying. I'll get into that a little bit later in this video. The front-facing speakers was a nice break from any other phone that doesn't have front-facing speakers, such as the Galaxy S6 that I've been using for a while now, and any other device. Pretty much, it's either on the bottom or on the back of the device. It's nice just to hold the phone up to your face and have the sound coming at you when you're watching a video. It's just like, it's pretty much where every speaker needs to be on every device. It's just really nice having those front-facing speakers. Speaking of the speakers, I actually like the sound quality better on this phone than I did on the Galaxy S6. It seems like on the S6 that the volume was toned down a little bit. Granted, there's that option that you can boost the volume, but it seems like when I was on a phone call, I could hear better out of this. For work, I'm on the phone with my boss frequently throughout the day, and it was a lot easier to hear this. Let's say in a loud work truck or when loud power equipment is going on in the background, I was able to hear this. The phone seemed to be pretty snappy too. I really enjoyed that. There wasn't any kind of hiccups this time around. If you saw my first initial review about the device, you noticed that I had some problems with when I would rotate the screen back from being sideways, it would literally cut the screen in half. It would be working on one side and frozen on the other. I have not experienced that this time around, so hopefully they got that bug worked out. I know I'm not the only one that struggled with that problem. I saw quite a few people report the same thing. That pretty much sums up what I like about the Nexus 6. It's really a good device. I'm not going to take away from that. But for me personally, I'm not going to be able to use it as my daily driver. And some of my major reasons of why is, while the big screen is nice, it's not that friendly in daylight, and that's actually a really big deal to me now because I work outside. The Galaxy S6 has a really new awesome feature. In sunlight, it kind of gives you this burst of brightness, and that is so helpful to see the screen when I'm outside. When I used the Nexus 6 outside, it was very difficult to see. I'd have to hold it pretty close to my face just to see a text message or any kind of email notification. It was kind of annoying. And I really missed that from the Galaxy S6. That actually ended up being one of the major reasons why I'm going back to the Galaxy S6. Another reason why I'm getting rid of this, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is that the screen or the device is just too big. Again, working in lawn care landscaping, there's a lot of times where I need to use the device one-handedly. And this really isn't a one-handed device. You have to use two hands most of the time. Now granted, I have big hands, as you can see, it covers it pretty well. And for the most part, I can navigate it and do what I need to do. But there's a lot of times to where I just needed to use it one-handed, and I had to bust out the two hands. Now, that could be a first world problem. That could just be a whatever problem you want to label that as, hashtag it, whatever. But it turned out to be more of a nuisance than I needed it to be. I'm a very fast-paced worker, so I need to get done with whatever I'm doing, whether that's answering a message to my boss or whatever the case might be. It's just so much easier to have a device to where I can use it one-handed. The camera on this thing just still doesn't do it for me, especially the front-facing camera. I use the front-facing camera more than I actually thought I would. I like taking pictures with my kids, my family, doing those family shots together. It just turns out so grainy. And then the rear-facing camera isn't that great either. Now, when you're in great lighting, it does take some really nice pictures, but that's half the time. Like, yeah, I'm outside, but I don't always take outside pictures. And coming from the Galaxy S6, man, that thing just rocks on the camera. Some of the pictures I've taken with that thing is just really, really impressive to me. And it's just really hard to give up a quality like that for this. With all that said, I will say that this is still a good phone. It's not a great phone, but it is a good one. If you're not looking to spend top dollar on a device, this is definitely one to consider. If you like to tinker, this is definitely the device for you. I wish I could keep it. I wish I could afford to keep both phones, but I don't. I'm not in that position to be able to do so. So I have to be careful with what I want. And I want to go back to the Galaxy S6. I don't want to use the Nexus 6 as a daily driver. If I was able to keep it as an additional device, being able to just throw in the SIM card and use it for a while, and then when I get tired of it, just switch back to something else, that would be a different story. But Bane Tech being the everyday user experience, I try to put myself in your shoes as much as possible, and I don't have multiple devices laying around. I can't just pick one up and just start using it when I want to. So I have to be careful what I want to use, and I want to use the Galaxy S6. One of the reasons why I got this device again was the price point. It dropped in price $150 off on Amazon and on Google Play Store. In my opinion, that was the price that it should have been introduced as. I would say that the price point now is more forgivable. I don't think that this device is worth what it was originally costing. This would definitely be a fun device to have around, being able to just load up custom ROMs, do some tinkering. You know, if I get bored with something, I could just change it up the way I want. That's just some of the awesome things about this phone, but it's just not going to be my daily driver kind of phone. What I'm hoping with this video is that it relates to you. If you can relate to some of my situations of how I use a device and how you use a device, what I'm hoping is that we find some common ground with some of the features that we look for in a device. And if it's worth spending money on a device like the Nexus 6 or going ahead and getting something like the Galaxy S6. I would appreciate it if you share this with your friends and family. This could be information that could be proven useful to somebody else. If you've not subscribed to this channel, I would really encourage you to do so, because you're going to be able to find videos that are going to be helpful to you. It's not just about device reviews, it's about stuff that you can use in your everyday life. Thanks guys for watching, I really appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.